Beautiful people, welcome back to another video. For those new here, my name's Peter, 767 airline pilot. It's raining, it's cold, let's get out of Newark. First leg of the day, we're gonna be flying Newark to Memphis. Trip started with a deadhead, my personal favorite. Early morning wake up today. Like I said, it's raining. We're trying to protect the hair at all costs. First leg is to Memphis, second leg's to Denver. As always, you wanna come along for the ride? Let's go do it. All right, we just landed runway 18 left in Memphis. It was my leg. Captain was nice enough to let me take the landing out of Newark to Memphis. Gusty winds here. We did a nice job getting in, but Captain Christa wanted to say hi. How long have you been a captain here at the company?
I've been a captain here for a little over 4 years.
4 years? So I get asked a lot, Pete, do you ever fly with any female flight crew members? Here's a prime example of one. Do you know the I have, only because I get asked this question, I have looked it up. Do you know the percentage of female airline pilots in the U.S.?
Female airline pilots is around 5%.
Yeah.
FedEx is like slightly less than that.
Yeah.
It's around 4%.
Yeah, 4%. I was going to say, is it less here at this company than it is nationwide? Wow. So what got you into flying, and how did you build up the ranks to become a 767 captain flying a wide-body aircraft?
So my path was a little unorthodox. I was at Delta as an analyst after my degree, and I did not like working 8 to 5, so I became a flight attendant, and I liked the schedule, so I decided to start taking flying lessons in 2001. And I was at regional airlines before I made it to FedEx, and I've been here for almost 14 years.
Awesome, very cool. So one piece of advice for those that are either nervous to get into the career field, or especially the young women out there who are like, it's a male-dominated field, I don't think I would have a chance to succeed or make it to the ranks. What would you tell them?
Oh goodness gracious. I'm a mom of 3. My kids are 15, 14, and 12 years old. So I do think that it's possible to do it all. It requires resilience. It requires a lot more effort than maybe everyone realizes. However, it is completely worth it.
Because Chris was just telling me on the flight here how she had a flight to Calgary, Canada, and went skiing for her layover. So it's not that bad of a gig, right?
Yeah.
No, it's a great piece of advice. I get asked a lot how to balance family life, friends, relationships with flying and being on the road, but you're a prime example that it's definitely doable and possible, and in our opinions, I think it's probably one of the best, most rewarding careers.
It has been fantastic. It tells our daughters that anything's possible.
Love it, love it. So everyone in the comments below, say thanks, Captain Christa, and we'll see you guys on the layover here in Memphis.
Thanks, Pete.
All right, we made it to Memphis safely, checked into our sleep room, had some lunch, and now we're just at the gym. As you already know, folks, it's non-negotiable. Leg day today, trying to get those giraffe long MFers to grow. So squats, some hamstrings, lunges, and we'll finish up with some abs. But special shout out to my special guest, Captain Christa. Really appreciate you coming on the vlog. And like I said, a bunch of people have asked me in the past, including my own family and friends, do you fly with girls at all? And yeah, there's a perfect example. So she mentioned it perfectly, relationships, being able to be a full-time mom, full-time airline pilot, super inspirational, awesome to fly with. So Captain Christa, if you end up watching this, it was fun flying with you. Hope to do it again soon. But leg day here, we got 4 hours till we head to Denver for our next leg. And then it's gonna be a short layover in Denver. I don't know if I should make up for the last time I was there. If you guys watched like 3 or 4 vlogs ago, I went to that like Bison House or whatever, and it was subpar. So we'll see. We're gonna be eating some protein for sure after we lift heavy on the legs today. And we'll make up our mind once we get to Denver. But quick workout here. Got to catch up with SJ. She's been tanning without me before our trip for New Year's. So I may hit the booths here. We'll see. And then back at it to work. Beautiful people. We're back out on the ramp in beautiful Memphis, Tennessee. A little windy, wind coming from the south there. Clouds are in the sky. Pre-flight of the 767. Her name is Grant today. We're all set to go to Denver, Colorado. Just over 2 hours, 32 minutes to Denver. We're gonna have a big headwind, almost 100 knots, pushing us in the nose, which will make it slower for us to get there. Cruising altitude of 34,000 feet because we're pretty heavy with cargo. We're already loaded. Probably gonna leave early, so that's a good thing. Captain asked if I wanted to take the leg. Since I flew here, I said, you have it. I'll take the one tomorrow. So we got non-stop service to Denver, and then it'll be a quick layover in Denver. It's only about 11 hours. Haven't decided if I'm gonna go Outback Steakhouse or the Bison place yet. So TBD, next stop, Denver. Hello from Denver, Colorado, the mile-high city. We landed runway 35 left. Easy flight, a little bit of turbulence departing Memphis, and then en route there were some storms, but once we were over ahead of them, just caused a little bit of turbulence, nothing too bad. Show you guys the arrival into Denver. We flew the Clash 4 RNAV arrival. Denver's, I don't want to say a tricky airport, but something you definitely got to be on your toes for as a pilot. Doesn't fly in here a lot. There's just so many freaking runways. Here's a diagram of the airport. It's an enormous airport, high elevation, high terrain. So there's a lot of factors, usually a lot of weather with wind, snow, you name it. So Denver's definitely on the tricky side. But back to the arrival, we got a speed restriction of 280 knots. So what that means is when you start descending, they want you slowing to 280 knots prior to any speed ups or any of the assigned speeds on the arrival. So we came over Oath and Thin and In, and this one's for you, Sonia. She always says she has no idea what the heck I'm talking about with these. Basically what these fixes are, think of street signs. So cars navigate, hey, turn left on East Oak, turn right on Main Street. That's how airplanes navigate with these fixes. But instead of using latitude and longitude coordinates, they give them 5-letter fixes, and that's all they are. They're just basically waypoints for airplanes to go from A to B. It can't just go direct from Memphis to Denver. We have to have waypoints. So these are the waypoints. It helps space the airplanes and helps air traffic control flow all of the arrivals into the airport. So we got Clash between 22 and 19. That just means altitudes. When we cross this waypoint at Clash, we have to be between 22,000 and 19,000 feet. Luckily, the Boeing 767 takes care of all that for us. Then we went to Everly, Record, Towson, Pinball, Rocks, and the bottom fix, bottom altitude, I should say, is 9,000 feet at 210 knots. The bottom fix of Ebler, if you're landing a 3-4 left, right, or 3-5 left, which we were. So I know that can be confusing, but like I said, airplane just dialing 9,000 in the MCP, and it just starts its descent, calculates all this out, bingo, bongo, bingo. And then we flew the visual back up the ILS to runway 35 left, and we got cleared for the visual approach. They told us to turn right, direct to Sibley, intercept the localizer, and land 35 left. Captain's landing did a nice job, and we taxied to our gate for you up-and-coming pilots out there. You learn about, if you're not training in high-density airports, Denver is definitely a high-density airport. I mean, especially in the summer. Its fuel elevation is like 5,400 feet, 5,600 feet. It's right in front of me. I don't know why I just don't look. Yeah, 5434 it says. So that's the altitude that the airplane thinks it's flying at as far as performance goes, even while you're on the ground. Add in temperature to that, that density altitude is gonna jack up as high as 6,000, 7,000 feet. So for you non-pilots, all that means is even though the airplane's on the ground, the performance of the engines, the airflow over the wings, it's like it's at 7,000 feet. So the air's thinner, the airplane does not perform as well. And you have to take that in consideration when you're landing. So again, Denver's just one of the trickier ones out there. Luckily VFR, and it was an easy day to fly. Got about 11 hours here. Gonna get some food, answer some emails, boring layover. I got my workout in at the Memphis hub, and return and go to Memphis tomorrow. So let's go enjoy some Denver. All right, so I was on the fence between that Ted's Steakhouse, but for me, once you go wrong, once you do me wrong, it's hard for me to go back. So I opted for the always reliable Outback Steakhouse, sweet potato, sirloin steak, medium rare, rack of ribs. Pretty much already ate my bread and the water because I'm always healthy. Just can't beat the value, folks. Can't beat it. Although I was reading the reviews again for Ted's, that bison does sound and look good. It's just sometimes you just want quantity over quality. The Aussie, the Outback Aussie fries were calling me down under. Good morning, beautiful people from the not too cold, but slightly chilly ramp here in Denver, Colorado. Early wake up local time was like 5:30 a.m., but I got my East Coast watch on. It's saying it's 8:30 East Coast time, so feeling pretty good. Slept a good 7.5 hours. It'll be my leg to Memphis. No real threats, no real weather. Got a nice tailwind pushing us up at 37,000 feet, which will be nice because we get to go to Memphis early, assuming that we get loaded on time and everything goes according to plan. Problem though, when I get to Memphis, I have a gap in my schedule, and unfortunately, I can't fill that gap. Hold on, that's loud. Let me move over here. Unfortunately, I can't fill that gap with a trip because my trip on Thursday, the duty time doesn't exist. So for those who don't know, pilots are only allowed to be on the clock, on duty for X amount of hours a day. So you can't just fly as much as you want and have breaks in between and all this stuff. So there's FAA rules, and then our own company and union have rules too for safety, for pay, for just making sure the pilots are rested and able to do their job. So probably I'll have about 28 hours unpaid off in my domicile in Memphis. I haven't decided if I'm gonna fly home just to be home for 12 hours to fly back, or if I'm gonna just suck it up, pay for a hotel in Memphis, and go from there. I think that's what I'm leaning towards, just a lot less strenuous on my body and mind. I can pay for a cheap hotel, still get a workout in, keep my sleep schedule, not just bounce around coast to coast, time zone to time zone, flying as a passenger for no reason. So we'll figure that out. We get to Memphis, just about 2 hours. My leg. Let's go. One thing I'm looking for on the pre-flight inspection is this tether right here, this big purple and orange tether. Every single time I do a pre-flight, I have to make sure that the airplane's exactly that. It's tied down, because the fact that we load so much heavy stuff, and if by accident the stuff isn't loaded in sequence, it could actually tip the airplane. So you always see the airplanes tethered, because heaven forbid, if they loaded it back heavy, it could actually fall on its tail. So different companies, different airlines use different mechanisms. You'll see a lot of the Boeing 737s, you'll see a pole, like a pogo stick right in the back that the ground crew hooks up. But for us at our company, either we have the tether for the 7.6, or sometimes you'll just see like a weight cart, which just looks like a tug, basically weighting down, just to make sure that the big girl doesn't flip over on its tail, because that would be a bad day for sure. The empty hull of a 767-300 before it all gets loaded. We were just advised by our dispatcher. Dispatcher is the person that flight plans, looks at the weather, helps with the loading of the airplane. Basically I want to say second in command, but they have authority over the flight, just like the captain and the pilots do. But they just advised us that we are 20 minutes delayed here leaving Denver. So hopefully that sticks, meaning hopefully it doesn't become more than 20 minutes. Gives me enough time, I guess, to eat my breakfast. But the reason being, Memphis, our destination, and also our global hub where everything happens, was just pounded with like rain and cold weather last night. So it delays everything there, which kind of, it's a waterfall effect. I've mentioned that before. If there's delays upstream, it's going to affect everything downstream. So, you know, we're only 8 hours removed from that storm, so it's just delaying the loading and the processing and the flights, and they don't want to get overwhelmed, so they're telling us to sit here for at least 20 extra minutes. But as you can tell, nothing loaded yet. Just gonna chill, get everything ready in the flight deck, and then hopefully we're not leaving here too late. Hello from Memphis, Tennessee. We're in the Pilot Pete paid for hotel because, like I said earlier, I'm domiciled here. I decided just to get the hotel here for the night. By the time I got home, went to bed, I'd have to wake up right away for my trip tomorrow. So just gonna suck it up here for one day, get a workout in, meet up with a buddy who lives here for a workout later in the day, and then just work on some projects. And yeah, not ideal to be here and not home and not getting paid, but it is what it is. But before I log off, I just want to show you guys the flight real quick from Denver to Memphis. So we pushed back. Our ramp is the very south part of the airport, this huge airport. As we were taxiing, we had planned on departing runway 8, which is all the way up here. But as we pulled ahead to talk to ground, air traffic control said, hey, you guys have two options. You can wait for 2 arrivals and depart basically right in front of you, 3-5 left, or you can taxi now all the way to 3-4 left, which would take well over 10 minutes. So we decided to take off 3-5 left. It's the pilot monitoring's job, or my job in this case, to then change everything, the FMS, the performance, the runway, the engine out procedure if there is one, and make our departure look good for 3-5 left. So I did that. Those 2 planes landed, then we were cleared for takeoff, and we flew the EBKE 7 RNAV arrival. The only thing kind of special, for lack of a better term, on this departure, I said arrival, but on this departure is as we turn, Keating's at or below 10,000 feet. So we can't climb above 10,000 feet, even though our top altitude is flight level 230, 23,000 feet. So we were cleared direct to Keating and climb via the SID. So we had to make sure that the airplane stopped at 10 because there was an arrival airplane coming into Denver, not ours, obviously, that was at 11,000. So we leveled off at 10. The VNAV did its job. It was pretty hectic, pretty busy. They're giving us headings and turns and all that stuff. So I coupled the autopilot up pretty early just for that reason, so that there would be less workload management. And then we were on our way at or above APU at 14,000, EBKE above 15, and then we went on to Doozy. Flight overall was actually pretty bumpy. We were climbing over some cloud coverage, this area, and it was just bumpy over the mountains and things like that, probably until we got, I don't know, like halfway to Wichita, I think. Is that ICT? Yeah, Wichita. It started to smooth out a little bit, and then the fun part about the approach and arrival was the STAR, or the standard terminal arrival into Memphis. We had the Hobook 4 RNAV arrival landing north, so all these fixes, and the bottom fix for this arrival is ROCAB, 230 knots at 10,000 feet. So our airplane was starting to slow. Right around here, ATC said, speed is your discretion, which what I did, I prompted the airplane to keep flying at 280 knots, the last speed that was on the arrival. So I was able to keep the airplane going fast. He gave us a heading, to intercept, and we were cleared for the ILS to 3-6 left, and we broke out around like 1,500 feet. But it's fun basically not being, what's the term, kind of your handheld while flying the approach. It's fun to just kind of configure when you want. And even the captain made a comment once we landed. He goes, man, you like to configure last minute, huh? I like to kind of test myself, for lack of a better term, coming fast, configure on speed, on altitudes, and then at 1,000 feet, which is our SOP, standard instrument procedures, you want to be completely configured at 1,000. So right passing Cadus, we're almost at 1,000 feet. So gear down, all that good stuff. And we landed runway 36 left, taxied off at Mike 7, and then we parked at gate 801. Self-critique, we're gonna go with a 9.7 out of 10. The approach was nice. Clicked the autopilot off around 1,200 feet. Landing, a little quartering crosswind, touchdown on the right mains first. Smooth touchdown, just what we like to see, folks. So the okayest pilot is figuring it out one day at a time. But that ends the trip. Hope you enjoyed coming along. Special shout out to Captain Christa for being on the video. Appreciate that. If you have any comments or questions, you know where to find me. Either drop a comment below or hit me up on Instagram at pilotpetefly.com. I get back to all of them. Just make sure you follow me first so I can see them. And yeah, when this comes out, it'll be Christmas. So Merry Christmas to you guys. I really do appreciate all of you, especially those who've subscribed and helped the channel grow. It means a lot. The DMs you guys send me with the positive, encouraging words. Again, it really does mean a lot, and I really do appreciate it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you have the best Christmas, the best holidays, and the best New Year with your family and friends. And we're gonna keep on trucking. So, oh, and two little side notes. One, non-negotiable T-shirts are being designed and made as we speak, so look out for that. And two, and something I'm actually really excited about and passionate about, is I'm building up my website, pilotpetefly.com, and the goal of that website is to build the biggest aviation community. That's what I'm going to kind of strive for in 2025. So whether you're new to aviation, want to get into it, already have started, and just want to know about different career paths, my goal is to build up that community. So gonna plan on doing like live streams once a week, like every Sunday or every Monday. Whether it's on YouTube or Zoom links, as long as you're in the community, you'll get like a notice. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to present it just yet, but I want to be able to have people help people, because I know that we can all use that sometimes. So it's nice to have someone that's been there, done that, and that's the goal. So we'll have guest pilots from different walks of life, different industries, all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that. But as always, again, I appreciate it. Thanks for coming along. Until next time, have fun out there, be safe, Merry Christmas, and we'll see ya.